Hello, my fellow programmers. Welcome back once more to this industrial network course. And we're going to be talking about our DeviceNet topic. We already talked about mapping and how everything would work. But let's leave it a bit more clear. And I'd like us to do this as close as possible. Like as if it was something basically normal in your DeviceNet network. Why? Because you're probably going to say, all right, Rodrigo, so you're saying that right here, I can add whatever word I wish and whatever I place and whatever I want. And the scanner is going to translate it to send or receive information. But what would happen if I had more than 3 nodes or 3 devices? What can you guarantee so that I can know about this device and this other device, etc.? If that's what you're asking, then your logic is correct. Because if I add here, let's suppose another power flex. Okay. Now, what else would you like to add? Let's see here. A device. Well, this is 1336. This is for previous older drives. Let's see here. An I/O link, which are smart sensors. So let's add this here. Okay, 4, 5. Let's do 5. 5 more devices aside from PowerFlex. Okay. Well, that is correct. I mean, your logic is absolutely correct. Now, let's suppose that I want to send out node number 6. Okay. So your logic is correct. Now, how is the scanner really going to know the place of the I/O? So by uploading it here, it's sending out logically all the logic that I'm going to get. For example, here for our I/O link, for me to get the data, I would need to go into the device manual, and that's where I can get the data to indicate the words. Because I need to know. I mean, I don't know absolutely everything or all the devices. It's thousands of devices. Okay, and even new ones that some companies are even launching. So I'm not going to know from that word that I have what byte number 2 is or 4. I don't really know this. So the people who know this are the ones who created this device. And even so, I can assure you that I don't know them by heart. They need to have a manual. Okay? So first step, we have to look for our DeviceNet that is that model. And then indicate the words that you need to upload and what each one means. Now, what's the other step? Upload it here, upload the nodes, check the configuration that there you write. Now, what is the other step? We need to upload our model for our scanner. It starts to make a little bit more sense, right? In this case, the 1756, because from control logics for Allen Bradley, review number 12. Here we go. And this has already been assigned as 210, and this is where we get the magic. So I'm going to open the scanner, its properties, and it's going to tell me here scan list. Now, what was the first power flex that we assigned? For example, node number 2. So I'm going to move this on to my right, because if I don't pass this on in my input, the words that I have here at these are these. For these words, I have nothing. Inputs nor outputs. Okay? So therefore, I need to tell it, or I need to indicate it, that these words, I have to move them down to my entry or my input, and that's where the magic happens. So the first two words, which are double integers, have already been assigned automatically. Now, what happens with the outputs? Same thing. For node number 2, then with this, I'm telling my scanner which words match for each device. Okay, so I'm going to upload my scan list for my I/O link, and I'm going to send it out here. And it's saying that it doesn't have any information for I/O on the input and output information. So therefore, I'm going to select it here, and I'm going to edit what is internally as input and output. Now, what do I need to create this? Remember, our manual. I do not know the manual. You guys don't know it either. So you need to check online through Google and add whatever is the description for this manual. If you want to try it, let's try it, so you guys can see how it works. Okay? So 1734. And then go to module number 4, IOL, which IO link. Okay, now let's see if we have DeviceNet. Here it is, which is basically the same thing. Okay, so it's giving me something new here. Now let's see. Let's see what the internal memory is like. Now, this is all you have to do. If there's no information, then you need to know what type of memory arises or has. So this is something that's going to be very small, and it's a larger manual. And here we go. So communicate this with your module. Okay. Done. Now check this out, guys. It's telling us in default data MAC for our module 1734 IOL IO link. So it's indicating this for a byte from byte 0 to 7. Okay. It's going to give you your status for channel 0. You see this? So then I'm going to go back here, and then we have, well, how many bytes? Okay, it's the same thing. How many bytes do you need to get the status for all 4 channels? So I want 4. Okay. What else do we have here? What else? This should exist. And here's our connection. And here are our outputs. If you see this, some are inputs and others are outputs. And these are set by default. This is only to check the status, and it's always going to be like this. With inputs and output systems, inputs is what I'm going to receive to check to see how well the status is, if it's red, if it has a problem, okay? And outputs is what I'm able to modify through my device. Here, for example, it seems that there are scalings, etc. So it's telling me 4 and use 4 of them. Okay, so 4 and 4, so you can start modifying. And ready. Hard byte rate. Oh, sorry, I made a mistake here. Change office state, whether it's cycle or status. Rescan, that's okay. So the connection size you've entered, okay? Yes, here. Yes, because this is a double integer word. And now we have our IO link. So if you notice, it's one word only for 32 bytes or bits. Now, this is how we're going to start using our data, okay? So this means that our word on this side, number 2, my double integer number 2, is specifically, oh, sorry, here, these are bits. So this is specifically for IO link, status, node, 1. And ready. So I can add this, power flex, $755, node 02. And this, we're going to add this in the logic. You see this? So for this is how it works. If we wish to control, once we start storing, what we're going to start controlling. And that way we can start combining this. So make the next one our power flex. The IO link is going to tell us that there's nothing there. So we need to edit this, remember? And here, input, everything that we have already established is going to start storing. So we click apply. And this is the mapping, guys. This is the mapping in a DeviceNet. Now, this is simple once we understand it, but it's complicated if nobody explains this to us. Okay? So ultimately, we're going to click on accept, store. We store the information if it's a project from scratch, so DeviceNet. Now, what would happen if I had the physical part? Then in this case, I'm going to go to network. Online, it's going to scan the whole network. Everything that we have here. So if I wish to modify position, or if I'm going to migrate one device, or if I want to change the mapping, or if I want to see how everything is placed in our mapping, because sometimes, trust me, we do not get any comments, and we get everything in blank. And we could say, well, how should I know what device is for each word? So then I'm going to go to my network, my RS Networks software, and I scan this. And I ask, well, if you don't know, then it's going to send out for all devices. And now, scan the device, scanner, which you need. And that's how you're going to know that your devices are connected. So from this, all you're going to do is you're going to click, check the scan list, and you're going to be able to see the devices. And then you'll get to see which one matches each one. It's pretty simple, guys. And then from there, you guys can head out to your program and you can start detecting it. You start verifying which one matches which. And that's where you say, oh, well, according to the scanner and the inputs, word number 3 and 4, these match, in this case, for our power flex. Done. Okay, that's 3 and 4. So this is where you're going to add, and that's where you start verifying, where you say, oh, so this is the power flex. And that's where you're going to start getting your logic status. Or you go here through the scanner, you go through IO data, and this is where you're going to start seeing, oh, so this is input, this is the status logic. So then I head out to my power flex and I verify what is controlled this logic status. So logic status, here we go. And here is where I start analyzing how I'm going to control this and how I'm going to modify it. It's pretty simple, right? Now, what would happen if I wish to add my network and scan it on my network? Remember, download to network. So I want to get my data, and I copies it, it stores it, and you can give this to your customer or send it through a document, through email, sorry, in case they're ever going to need it. Okay, so it's pretty simple. DeviceNet is very, very simple. Just as long as we have everything clear. It could be confusing, but it's relatively easy. It's not something that you're cracking your knuckles or biting your fingernails. No, it's something very, very simple. All you need is to know what each thing is for. So if you have an engineer specifically with something of yours, send me a comment, send me questions. If you want to memorize the whole course, go ahead then. You need to go over and over and over these lessons. But if you use more Ethernet and you've never seen DeviceNet, then analyze from this course what I explained. Just in case in the future you have any problems, you can double check this. And I could help you out with no bigger issue. So now let's move on to our ControlNet network, which also many people don't like this at all because it's been getting a lot of scolding on behalf of their companies. Okay, this is the safest network, but this is also the most complex network if we don't know how to modify it. It's not like this when we say, oh, I'm going to add this, then edit it online. No, not here. If we run a modification, it's not only for this device. It's for the whole network, which we should schedule. So the issue with DeviceNet is the mapping. The problem with ControlNet is scheduling. So each one have their disadvantages. That's why I love Ethernet. But guys, I'll see you on our next section. Any questions? Send me your comments. Big hug, guys.